Hello and welcome back to the channel. Apologies, but I've missed the first few frames of this video as the video didn't record properly. So you're basically at the stage where a rectangle has been masked off on £140 knot Bockingford watercolour paper. I've wet this with a mop brush to get a nice even consistency basically around where the deeper parts of the seascape are going to be. I'm now just dabbing in different colours. The darkest colour you see is Payne's Grey. The more bluey colours, the paler blues, are either cobalt blue or cerulean blue. It doesn't really matter for this because if you look at different seas from above, you'll see different colours there. I'm trying to keep the board moving quite a bit, and if you notice I keep on dabbing bits of water off and filling different areas, changing different colours. I'm trying to keep the colours as vibrant as I can because it really does help with the vibrancy of the actual finished picture. Right, now I've finished with the sea now, and I'm looking to add water to the foam and the sand areas. I've just dabbed some off with a kitchen towel because I don't want it too wet. Putting a rough wash of yellow ochre on here with a little bit of burnt sienna, and then adding bits of burnt umber to it, then going back in with stronger colours. I'm adding a little bit of blue here to this signifies the rocks that are underneath the foam. I'm trying to be as random as possible here. Don't try and create patterns because in nature there are not that many patterns really that are regular and identical. I'm dotting in some bits of green here to simulate any seaweed that might be underneath the foam. These are the lower layers that we're doing here. We're not doing the finished watercolour itself. We're going to go over the top of it after with gouache. So what we need to do is create enough realistic colour ranges and patterns and let that go off really dry before we add the gouache later. I've been using one or two different brushes here in case you've not noticed it. Again, this helps to give non-uniformity to the finished piece, and again adds to realism. I'm using two brushes here, one in my left hand, one in the right, and wetting and then dabbing in the wet patches with more colour. Now this is the time when we use the gouache. I'm using a liner brush to start off with, just to create sort of fairly haphazard lines of foam. Sometimes you're best pushing the brush rather than pulling it down because then you'll get a completely random effect, and if things don't work out you can always quickly dab it off with a paper towel or wet it with a brush and lift it. You can see here that it is fairly random, but if you look at the wave patterns, they do interlink almost like a spider's web, but with less of a regular pattern than that. I've fast forwarded a bit here because it is quite a lengthy process. Now when the gouache isn't at full strength or it goes over a stronger colour, you'll see that it doesn't give you a full white, but that's quite good for realistic purposes because it does give you another chance to go over it and create an additional layer of depth. I'm going over the little bits of seaweed here and making sure that I leave some of the original colour behind, so it's almost like you can see them underneath. I'm also using a bent brush here that enables you to see it better, to be quite honest, and it helps you being quite random with these strokes. It does take a while, as I say, to build this up, but you can put as much detail or as little as you wish. The key to it really is create those random, sometimes interlinked patterns, but also make sure that you keep some of the original colour underneath. I'm putting a slight shadow now underneath where the foam meets the beach. if you look at the sea, there is always a shadow where it meets the beach, but it's a really fleeting glance that you get of it, because obviously it happens quite quickly. I'm also going in with a wet brush just to soften this slightly where the edge might be too hard. You'll see that the beach has dried quite a bit lighter than it was originally. This carries on basically building up different layers, readjusting them with little dots of colour in between the gouache, and strengthening everything so it pops really. Right at the end of the video, I will show you a bit of the detail of this to give you an idea of how these little marks are made and what sort of patterns they make. Okay, I'm just putting some little speckles of paint on the top just for added realism. I do it in the foam, but I also do it in the sand to give it like a bit more texture. We're coming to the end of the video now, so if you found this useful, please pop me a like. It really does help the channel grow, and subscribe if you wish to see any future videos. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.